Britain's ex-Prince Andrew leaves Windsor home, BBC. Move on, says Trump, as Epstein files trigger probe into British politician. Muammar Gaddafi's son Saif al-Islam Gaddafi has been killed, sources say. Chomsky sympathized with Epstein over horrible press treatment. U.S. tanker approached by Iranian gunboats in Strait of Hormuz. Britain's former Prince Andrew Mountbatten Windsor has moved out of his longtime Windsor residence and relocated to a royal estate in eastern England, the BBC reported on Tuesday, as scrutiny intensifies over his links to the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. According to the report, the 65-year-old left Royal Lodge near Windsor Castle on Monday, where he had lived for about 2 decades with his former wife Sarah Ferguson. Buckingham Palace declined to comment on the move. Andrew is now staying temporarily at the Sandringham estate in Norfolk, with British media reporting that he is expected to move into a renovated permanent residence there later. The relocation comes days after the U.S. Justice Department released a new batch of Epstein-related documents that include photographs and emails involving Andrew, renewing pressure on him to explain his past association with the financier. The disclosures prompted Prime Minister Keir Starmer to say Andrew should testify before the U.S. Congress about what he knows of Epstein's crimes. A second Epstein accuser has also alleged, through her lawyer, that Epstein sent her to Britain in 2010 to have sex with Andrew at Royal Lodge. Andrew has denied all wrongdoing. The former royal stepped back from public duties in 2019, following earlier revelations about his relationship with Epstein. In 2022, he reached a multi-million-pound settlement with another accuser, Virginia Giuffre, without admitting liability. Epstein died by suicide in a New York jail in 2019, while awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. U.S. President Donald Trump on Tuesday urged Americans to move on from the renewed controversy surrounding Jeffrey Epstein, as the latest document release continued to trigger political fallout in the United States and Britain. Trump said the newly released files contained no damaging information about him and claimed the scandal was being used politically by his opponents. "Nothing came out about me other than it was a conspiracy against me," Trump told reporters at the White House. He added that the issue was a Democrat problem and called for the country to focus instead on issues such as healthcare. The comments came as former British ambassador to Washington Peter Mandelson resigned from the UK House of Lords and became the subject of a police investigation for suspected misconduct in public office. British authorities are examining allegations that Mandelson shared confidential government information with Epstein while serving as a cabinet minister. Mandelson has not commented publicly on the probe. In the United States, the fallout also continues to affect senior Democrats. Former President Bill Clinton and his wife Hillary Clinton are scheduled to testify before a congressional committee later this month as part of an investigation into their past contacts with Epstein. Neither Trump nor the Clintons have been charged with any crime related to Epstein. Saif al-Islam Gaddafi, the most prominent son of Libya's late leader Muammar Gaddafi, has been killed, according to sources close to the family, his lawyer Khalid El-Zaidi, and Libyan media. Libya's Attorney General's office said on Wednesday that investigators and forensic doctors examined Saif al-Islam's body on Tuesday and determined that he died from gunshot wounds. Authorities said they are working to identify suspects and prepare a criminal case. Saif al-Islam, once seen as a potential reformist face of the Gaddafi regime, played a major role in shaping Libyan policy before the 2011 uprising that ended his father's 4-decade rule. His public profile, however, had significantly diminished in recent years. In 2015, a Libyan court sentenced him to death in absentia for his role in suppressing protests during the 2011 revolution. He was also provisionally charged by the International Criminal Court with crimes against humanity, a case his legal team unsuccessfully sought to have dismissed. Despite his legal troubles, Saif al-Islam attempted a political comeback in 2021, registering as a candidate in Libya's planned presidential election. That vote ultimately collapsed amid continuing political deadlock and insecurity. Libyan authorities have not yet provided details on where or when the killing took place, and investigations into the circumstances of his death are ongoing. Renowned American intellectual Noam Chomsky privately expressed sympathy for Jeffrey Epstein over what he described as the, quote, horrible way the press treated the disgraced financier, according to emails released in a newly published cache of U.S. government documents. In a February 2019 email exchange, months before Epstein's arrest on federal child sex trafficking charges, Chomsky advised him to avoid engaging publicly with what he called media vultures. Responding to Epstein's complaint about putrid press coverage, Chomsky wrote that public responses would only invite an onslaught of venomous attacks, adding that many critics were publicity seekers or cranks. That's particularly true now with the hysteria that has developed about abuse of women, Chomsky wrote, arguing that the climate had reached a point where even questioning a charge is a crime worse than murder. Epstein was arrested in July 2019 and was found dead the following month in a New York jail cell. His death was ruled a suicide. Previously released materials have shown that Chomsky maintained contact with Epstein long after the financier's 2008 conviction for soliciting prostitution from a minor. One image made public by U.S. congressional Democrats shows Chomsky seated next to Epstein on an airplane. A U.S.-flagged oil tanker was approached and challenged by Iranian gunboats in the Strait of Hormuz on Tuesday before continuing its voyage, the United States Central Command, CENTCOM, said. CENTCOM spokesperson Tim Hawkins said 2 Iranian boats and a drone approached the tanker M/V Stena Imperative, quote, at high speeds and threatened to board and seize the vessel. A U.S. Navy destroyer, the USS McFall, responded with support from the U.S. Air Force and escorted the tanker, which is now proceeding safely, Hawkins said. Earlier, British maritime security firm Vanguard Tech reported that the tanker was approached by 3 pairs of small, armed boats belonging to Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps while transiting the strait about 16 nautical miles, 30 kilometers, north of Oman. According to Vanguard Tech, the gunboats hailed the vessel by radio and ordered its captain to stop the engines and prepare to be boarded. The tanker instead increased speed and maintained its course. The firm said the ship did not enter Iranian territorial waters. The United Kingdom Maritime Trade Operations (UKMTO) had earlier reported the incident without identifying the nationality of the tanker or the vessels involved.